So, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about unreleased cards because, well, I've been seeing this just like everywhere on my recommended wherever I look, so kind of inescapable. So, I thought I'd give my take on this card. So, this card actually not that good. Well, in terms of Master Duel, uh, if you look at this card, it might read kind of crazy. We don't even have to care about this part. All we have to do uh, is care about this part, alright? So this first effect is the only thing that realistically matters. Even if this part didn't exist, or yeah, it still probably isn't that good of a card. Well, in terms of Master Duel, right? So let's go over the whole effect first, though. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply these effects this turn, so automatically useless going first. On so many levels, but alright. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from either the deck or the extra deck, you will immediately draw one card. So if we were to be playing something like Snake Eye, you would draw a good few times off of that full combo, right? And there is not really a good pivot you can do. Like, for example, with DD, we can just do a Deus Machina X pass, technically, right? So that's great. But also, notably, against inherent summons, you have to chain this first. So you would probably want to do this, like, just in the draw phase or in chain to something. But this is already not super possible to chain. Like, if you see normal summon Snake Eye Poplar to add the original Sinful Spoils, for example, we can't really guarantee ourselves a draw with the Mulcharmy Fuwaross here. So we would be playing next turn with 5 cards in hand potentially. If we attempt to greed, right? So we see this, we know the line that they're going to do is probably going to be Link Off or Link Rebo, and then activate original Sinful Spoils after putting Poplar from the graveyard into the spell trap zone. So if this happens, then we would draw 2 off of just the original Sinful Spoils and the Link Rebo, but if we just chain this before Link Rebo is summoned, then our opponent can just do actually nothing. And that can net us nothing. And also the condition tied to the special summon? Okay, but what if our opponent doesn't special summon from either the deck or the extra deck? So, if they don't, then we're suffering. And here's a really bad one. So Labyrinth actually does special summon from the deck and or extra deck, but it requires you to control no cards. What does control no cards mean? Well, it means you have no cards on your field at all. That includes in your back row, right? It doesn't say like control no face-up cards or anything like that. So control no cards, period. So if I were to be activating like, I don't know, Rhoda, my opponent could chain Welcome Labyrinth to that. So that's an effective way to kind of dodge the Mulcharmy Fuwaross here. But I guess in this case, you could also try, I don't know, chaining Fuwaross. But if you try to chain this in like draw phase, for example, let's say I'm playing Lab once again. Chain 1 big welcome, chain 2 welcome. And then that completely plays around this. And then you just essentially hand rip to yourself for 2. And then I'm just chilling as the Lab player in this case, for example. And this effect, I guess, does exist once during the end phase. If the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls plus 6. So this is not really that useful, honestly. That doesn't really do anything. I guess it's neat that it's random, but I wouldn't want to deal with this in real life. How do I randomly like shuffle back? Let's say my opponent summoned a lot of times, right? I have to randomly shuffle back like let's say 20 cards. Well, yeah, that doesn't sound fun. And also another thing to consider is that deck out is actually a win condition. So let's say you get Mulcharmy Fuwaross off twice, since there is no hard ones per turn, right? And it says you can only activate one other Mulcharmy once effect the turn you activate this effect. Wait, never mind. Unless this is mistranslated, it says you can only activate one other Mulcharmy. Wait, actually, what does that mean? One other Mulcharmy monster effect? Does that mean a Mulcharmy that's different from this one? Or one other Mulcharmy effect as in like one other monster with the name Mulcharmy? I'm not very sure about this one, but either way, if you draw too much, you will deck out, you will lose. That's another downside. And let's say if our opponent here really wants to play around like Mulcharmy and Maxi, alright, what if everyone is now on Flu or just decks that don't special summon very much, like, you know, for your Mulcharmy cards to actually be able to do anything. So, a deck that would fit the bill, as it happens, would be like Centurion. So if we were to go ahead and look at the Centurion combo, uh, first off, there is not a single special summon from deck. We only place our monsters from the deck and then we special summon them from field. Which, unironically, just for some reason, that just bypasses both of the Mulcharmy effects. I believe the other one cares if you like special summon from hand or something. Which we also don't do, we just normal summon. Which I think you might be able to get draw off of a normal summon. But okay. That's just an upstart. And in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, especially in Master Duel, you need like the options. Like, look at this deck. It's pretty jam-packed with things, and I mean, I have some funny text in here, but I barely have room for spell trap removal. If I were to just look at primarily the Centurion engine and take out my text, I have like 2, maybe 3 flex spots. If I take out the gargoyles here, I think I have like 4 or 5, maybe. And then Assault Synchron, at most we can manage maybe 6, but then our engine is like super weak, like unbelievably so. So I think we need to put something else in, like Assault Synchron, like something like this, to make the engine like a little bit better. I don't know what we could put in, but it feels pretty necessary to me. So yeah. There's also the fact that it'll conflict with like existing deck building as well to an extent. So let's say it gets added into the game immediately. Uh, now how exactly do we deck build? If we want to maintain 40, it's not going to be like super good consistency or anything. So if we were to put in, I don't know, Maxi plus that Mulcharmy card, how do I maintain like my engine, my hand trap somehow, my starter count, and all that with all of these extra cards? And of course, we do want hand traps. Like it doesn't have to be these ones, but in general, we could even replace these with effect veilers. But we need cards to draw into to stop our opponent's plays. Otherwise, we're getting threatened into deck out. You know, we could get totally decked out. And then there is the flip side. If we overload our hands with those cards, then what if our opponent plays a strategy that completely just doesn't care? So this could be like something, I don't know, it doesn't super matter, but we just know these strategies exist. So what if my opponent is playing like, well, how about stun? Okay, they normal summon like maybe once every turn, maybe 2 if they activate uh, I guess whatever that card was called, draw 2 for your normal phase or normal draw phase, whatever that is. And then yeah, that doesn't do much. We could be playing some kind of like pure Therion or mostly pure Therion, like Therion focused main deck kind of a deck, whatever that would be, and that would be fine. And back to the Centurion thing, kind of got sidetracked, but if we look at the actual text on this card and how like Centurion works, right? If I were to get hit by this Mulcharmy card, I can do a pro gamer move called doing literally nothing and just vibing. Or I can give my opponent a singular draw, like an upstart, up to me, honestly. So, honestly, they could have the upstart if I'm playing Centurion, right? So, if we have Primera plus whatever non-tuner on the field, it's kind of optional for me to actually go into a Centurion. So if you uh, chain something, I can just vibe pass, and then when you special summon something, I can activate Stand Up Centurion and then make a 12 next turn, and then that card is dead. You just went -1 essentially. So yeah, the Mulcharmy card, as far as I'm concerned for like Master Duel, uh, not really worthwhile. Not really going to change up the game. If if it did get released, I can see people like testing it, and then there'll be maybe like a wave of people playing decks that just don't care about uh, the Mulchammy cards. There are certain decks that can kind of play like this anyway, so it's kind of fine, right? But actually, let me check a bit of the card text here again. I'm not sure if this works the way I think it does. Does this actually just beat end? You do each time. No. No, it does not. You only get one draw off of a pendulum summon, I think. Okay. So, overall, not seeing this card changing up the game that much either. This would change up like the TCG though, I guess, because they don't have any cards that do what Maxi kind of does, so yeah, might be interesting for them, but since we already have Maxi, like, why do we care? Even if we just run 3 additionals, it's like, you're introducing yourself to deck out win con to your opponent. You're also able to just brick yourself, really. So the primary thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is that going first is ridiculously strong, and this card doesn't really, well, it doesn't necessarily let you win if you're going second. It won't necessarily take you there. And does this perhaps affect your going first ability? I would say definitely. So let's say if we were to have the choice of either running Ash Blossom and Joy Spring or the new Mulchammy card, like, for most players, it's actually much worse to run that card than Ash Blossom Joy Spring. So for turn 1, we can Ash Blossom negate Maxi, and we can also turn 2, or the following turn, if we don't get Maxi, we can just use this as interruption against our opponent's plays. The Mulcharmy card or whatever, it is only usable going second. So another reason it's already bad is if we win the coin flip, it's a dead card completely. Unless, I don't know, you just have a empty board and you manifest an end board like during the standby phase, like something dumb like draw phase, I activate Mulcharmy card, and then like 7 cards spawn out of nowhere in the standby phase. Like, yeah, that card is not going to see play right now. If we were to drop into Master Duel all of a sudden anyways. Well, I mean, it shouldn't really be an effective card, is what I'm trying to say, but I guess it would see play because everyone likes to test things. Like, there's a lot of Centurion being tested right now, but I can't say without a shadow of a doubt, this deck right now sucks ass. Oh, and just to go over it real quick, why Centurion sucks ass while we're here, might as well. So, if Primera gets removed, you're screwed, because this is the only tuner that you have. The rest are non-tuners that you can't do anything with, and it's actually somewhat hard to XYZ summon with these guys. I mean, the easiest level for you to make is 8, but 4 is actually significantly more difficult than 8, because you can much more easily adjust to 8 than you can to 4. If we need to make that adjustment, because MF can't adjust to that level, and Primera actually can't adjust to that level either, but having Trudea to grab Gargoyle and Trudea also being able to adjust its level to 8, I guess that might be a little bit easier than having to somehow... Well, actually, is it about equal? Could be. But yeah. That aside, you're ending on at best like around 2 Omnis, and these Omnis actually like mess each other up. So if we look at like our Cosmic Blazer and our Centurion True Awakening, I need to do the line pretty pretty annoyingly in an annoying way. So I need like Primera, uh, and then I need something else in the back row, and that's typically what you end on turn 1. So it can be Trudea, it doesn't really matter. And then we need Primera to actually search the Emeth, and then Emeth will put the Trudea in the back row, so we have something to send off of a True Awakening, or we can put our copy of Auxilla in the back row. Either one works, but either way we have to summon Primera first, and if we activate True Awakening before we do that, then we can't Synchro 12, which prevents us from summoning Cosmic Blazer, essentially. And if we were to summon Cosmic Blazer, like, too soon, then we won't be able to, like, potentially Emeth, which is, like, an issue, which then turns off, like, the True Awakening. So, yeah, all these kind of real issues. But, yeah. Even if, like, a card looks broken at first, it's actually maybe not as broken as you think. I mean, we have to test it first, I suppose, but I can guarantee that Centurion does not care about that new card. In fact, if you are playing it, you're going to somehow end up losing to Centurion, which is pretty niche and pretty funny, honestly. But I'm sure there's, like, a good amount of decks that can just cheese wins out of this. So you're better off just playing more generic, like we currently are right now. So we just want to go with generic options. That's why we like Imperm here. We like Ash Blossom. Crow is more like specific like tech for certain decks that you may or may not like. Whatever. Like Bestials, I guess, right? Bestials aren't good against every deck, you know? Mulcharmy's kind of same deal, if you ask me. Like, it could be good in certain situations, but not in all situations. And Bestials, of course, also serve as engine, so it does meet my requirements at least of being good turn 1 and turn 2, either going first or second, and being usable in that way. Like, for example, a Droplet is also a really good card in this regard. If I go first, I can just set the Droplet, use this as interruption the next turn. If I am going second, I can Droplet to break the board and set up whatever I need to do. Whether that be an OTK or like setting up a board so I can OTK after like breaking my opponent's board, or just whatever, right? The setup I need to do to win, essentially. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.